Have a lot of stuff on the agenda, or is?
No, it looked like it was fairly quick.
Yeah.
For us?
Yeah, it looks like a fast meeting.
That's good, because I'm hungry. Like Granddaughter's
Bring a Snickers bar, come on now, the
Uh,
commercial's out
there's
there.
so much junk food in that school.
The big thing is to get that budget approved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the resolution
I read it, it
passed.
look good, look, everything was fine with me.
Big thing is what?
Get the resolution for that budget passed tonight, because
Yeah.
we're on a timeline.
Well, that's required.
Okay.
All right, let's go for it, so we're not there.
All right.
All right, this is the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Today is Thursday, December the 12th, 2014. I think I gave everybody the right copy. I had a misprint, and I'm sure I got the right thing. But it is December the 12th, 2014. It is 5:30 p.m. This is the work session. Item number 1 has to do with the ADO, anti-dilapidation or properties. It's been talked about several times in the past, and so it was requested that it be on one of the work sessions for further discussion. So on this, because Tara Booth, who is very close to that subject and knows a lot about it, I will have her explain to us what there are. She provided us with the list, the schedule of 18 properties at this 18, right? 18 at this particular time. She also provided us with a copy of the anti-dilapidation code. So, Tara, I will let you explain what it is you have, and then we can open it up for questions.
All right, so the list that I put together was those are the priority lists that we're working with right now. These are all ones that are current, that we have pictures of, that we have tried to get a hold of the owners. Some of them we've been able to get in contact with, some of them we can't. We don't know if they've passed away, or some of them list the house that is closed and vacant as their primary home, so we don't have any other way of getting a hold of them. A few of them we're going to court to get permission to knock them down because they've gotten so bad that people are breaking into them and they can't keep them out. We have one house that they've even taken the boards that we have put on them and made it into a hinge door. So they can get back in. Our anti-dilapidation code is being updated this year, or this next year. We are taking it to city council to upgrade them, maybe to get a little bit more like nails in it so that we have something to go after them for. Because some of it we can keep sending them fines, but if they're not paying to fix their house up, they're not gonna pay for the fines. So we're kind of at a loss of what our next step would be. Maybe TURA can flip them around, possibly, but I think that would be of trying to figure out how to get custody of the house is where we come into the problem with. Since the city doesn't own the house, we can't just knock them down.
Is there a way to get some of these, are any of these people communicating with you?
We have a couple that have talked to us. We have one on Prairie, which is I think that's the 713 Prairie one. He is living in an RV behind the house, which he's not supposed to because that's against the rule or the law. He just doesn't have the money to do anything with the house. It's in really bad condition. I don't even know if it's a fixable house because we've had the last building inspector went and looked inside of it and tried to help him. And the house is in such bad condition, there's holes.
So it's a tear down?
Yeah, it would be a tear down.
So is there, and when Donna was here, and we've had a discussion before, is there a way to maybe come up with some kind of fund in TURA, maybe even some grants through, and we'll talk to Downtown Colorado Inc., and quick claim deed it here. I'll pick a number out of thin air. Here's $5,000, quick claim deed the property to TURA, and then that opens it up to
And
the marketplace.
that would allow us to do something with it.
And then you're empowered now to do something.
Yeah. Because that's where our issue comes into. We come into it where the owner is either doesn't want to do anything. Another one is that the owner doesn't want to let go of the house because they think it's a family legacy, but they're not doing anything with it. It's just
Right.
sitting there.
Any kind of time frame for possibly gaining ownership or some of these?
The 508 University, that is going to court. Les is taking that, and we're hoping by January. It has, that took a little bit of a process. Like Les was surprised on how much hoops he had to jump through. He had to get a proof that the owner was dead. proof that we can't get a hold of anybody else, that there's been no will in place for it, so it's just sitting there. So we'll see, we're hoping this is gonna show us the process to maybe go faster next time. Because we're planning on 510 University, which is right next door. Again, there's no owner. We did find out there possibly is an owner, but he's in a assisted living, can't talk, can't communicate.
Next to Kim? Okay. You know, it's one of those things that if Les and the city can come up with a process, the legal process to actually get it to a kind of certain point, I think that's when TURA gets part of that process, and let's say it's at number J, right?
Yeah.
In the process, we get in there, and then we may be able to get with Downtown Colorado Inc. and just get with some of our urban renewal, not partners, but associates out there, folks that already have done this. I just have to think there has to be some kind of grant funds out there for this kind of thing. You know, homes that need to be torn down, asbestos, especially when they're in blighted conditions, and especially when there's safety concerns with regards. And that doesn't even have to come into the devaluation of the neighborhoods around there. Just the safety, the blighted conditions and the safety concerns.
Well, that's what Prairie's been our
together.
focus, because that street has had so many homes that are just vacant. There's nothing going on with them. There is a gentleman down there that's been developing it. He bought 2 of the homes from an estate. They're side by side. He's fixing those up to rent them out. He's trying to purchase houses that are right next to it, the same thing, but the owner, he can't get a hold of the owner. We haven't heard from them. They'd come in saying that they were gonna knock their house down, and then that was the last time we heard from them. And they will not answer. They're up to $1,000 in fines, and they're not communicating
Are
with
they
us.
paying their taxes?
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Of those homes that we have, 4 of them have not paid their taxes. The rest of them are paying their taxes but not fixing up the houses. To me that makes no sense. Like, why would you pay on home taxes if you're just gonna let the house fall down?
Well, it's because they think at some point they can make some money off it.
Yeah, I think there's,
To me, it makes
misguided
no
optimism maybe.
Yeah, I don't. To me, it makes no sense. Nick, my boss, said that it's a possibility maybe it's an estate paying the taxes, and they don't realize that the condition of the house.
Well,
I'm not sure. 216 Goddard is the one that old David H. house. He sold it to a company out of Texas. We can't get a hold of them. They're not answering us.
That's the one that's burned?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one that
Yeah,
burned.
so-
It needs to just be knocked down because of how bad it was, but we've tried reaching out to them. We've tried, we've certified letters. They're signing for them, but they're not doing anything. The police have tried to get a hold of them too because the house is so bad. And we just run into red tags. We don't know what to do.
So these ones that are kind of at the top.
Those are the ones that
Those
have
seem-
taxes.
Yeah, well, and then when something goes into a condemned status, what's the next thing that the owner is supposed to do in order to, because you're certainly out of code, you're in violation of a lot of different things.
We tell them they have 2 options. You can either just knock the house down, or if you can get a contractor who's willing to get it up to code. That's the only thing they can do. Is to get
Okay, so I can either knock the house down or I can get a contractor.
Mhm.
I don't want to do either of those things.
And that's where we run out of.
Options.
Options.
There's nothing to enforce at that point.
No, we've tried. We just don't have. That's what we're hoping with the rewriting of the code, and we're going to put it forward next year to get it to a point where there's something we can do.
When is that supposed to happen?
We're hoping to shoot for March. It's a long process because we're moving up to the building of code of 2024. So we have to go through each book and exempt what we don't want to go forward and put it. We've started the process.
Well, March is relatively close, so.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and again, once you have that process, then the next one isn't 6 months, it may be 4 months, and then we do some things.
We're trying to get us to have a little bit more teeth behind what we can do.
Well, and again, we're in work sessions, so we're just talking.
Yeah.
Right, but it would be nice, so we've got $30,000 in our budget that we will be approving for facade grants, okay? We had a discussion there's some flexibility with regards to that. If opportunities came up, we could take those. I'd like to, have you guys at least, don't mark it down in pencil. I mean, mark it down in pencil with an eraser. But that if we got in some of these situations, is somebody willing to quit claim deed these properties over for us to say, here's $5,000. Here's what you were waiting for, a cash out, a payout of this thing?
I would say like the one on 713 Prairie probably, because he doesn't know what to do. The guy's a sweetheart, but it was left to him by his uncle who died, and he has no idea what to do. Like I said, he lives in a trailer.
Where is Prairie again?
Prairie is over near the train.
Where those little self-storage units are on Linden,
Oh, okay.
you know where those self-storage units
I know
are?
where you're
And
at.
directly west.
So you're going right towards.
Yeah, it's court, the self-storage
towards
units
Hilton.
are Prairie and Linden.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know
and
where-
that's what caught.
Okay.
Our previous building inspector he lived over on Linden, so when he drove down, he kept seeing those houses, and that's when he
Right.
started just focusing right there to try to get. And we got two. Like I said, we got two of them sold to a developer who's been flipping them. He's making them beautiful.
Yeah.
And his idea was to get the rest of the houses. He's like, I'll buy as many as I can and fix them up. But he's like, I can't get a hold of the owners. He even talked to one of them.
Can you invite him to
Yeah.
one of our meetings? I think if somebody is doing that stuff, we need to probably try and have a relationship with him. I don't know what we can do, but it certainly would be nice, because he's,
Well, it's nice to know.
exactly, it'd be nice to,
And somebody that's.
you know, when I was up in Grand County with her, we started a land bank. And I know a lot of other communities start these land banks to where you can actually, either the municipality or, we didn't have an urban renewal, we had the city, the town rather, would, when those properties came up, we would acquire them, we put them in there, and that way when the school district needed, I know a couple of times the school district needed housing, and we had 2 lots that were right in town that we were able to actually turn into housing. But we didn't have to go and buy those lots on the market for, ski area prices, because we purchased them for this kind of $5,000 and those kinds of things. We were able to at least have these assets, and they're assets, right, in the thing, and
Are
so.
we gonna have an issue with the county for taxes with this, or?
I don't know about the counties. I talked to Audra. She said that she doesn't see the city having an issue with waiving like some of the liens if we need to. She said it would be a case by case thing with the house, how much or.
And Donna indicated that as well.
Yeah.
With the county. It kind of case by case, but they also realized that these things not being on the books again, there's no more money. They're not making any money either. And so there's a realization, I think, now with everybody.
With the college thing, with the liens, were a big deal, why we didn't get a lot of them. A lot of these potential projects, because the liens were the killer. And they were gonna make us, through the state, pay for those things. And so it's encouraging to see that they would be willing to waive those.
Yeah.
That's a turn from just a couple of years.
Well, again, it's you guys were funded by the state through the Attorney General's office, right, with funds. We're the local urban renewal authority, propped up by the city. I think we can negotiate differently than
Right, I agree.
others,
Yeah, Donna or Audra said that she didn't see an issue. Like she said, it would be
It'd be case by case.
Yeah, because like there's the one that you guys we're talking about, the
Yeah.
1700 Arizona.
Yeah.
They owe like 21,000. I'm not sure if that one would be one that would be waived.
Right now, it's $32,390.
Yeah, that was with Los Animas County's added on there.
But again, that's imaginary dollars if you're never going to get them.
Yeah.
Just imaginary dollars,
But as soon as
Lose.
$1 trillion,
No,
it's
but
just.
as soon
That's
as you
an
get up
actual
there.
lien that's on,
I understand.
the city did things up there, so there's hard costs out there.
Yeah, that was because we demoed, there were some buildings behind it.
As soon as you start to say, I'm interested, all of a sudden those things come
Well,
right there.
And again, here, and I like this, they're gonna be case by case, because those may be things that we can go out for grants that make the city whole for work they had to do, and at least make them whole, and then bring those back on the market. It'd be nice to reach out to somebody that's a grant writer for urban renewal.
The second building on there is 165 East First. That's the burned out building.
That's Dr. Lowe's.
First and Maple.
Yeah,
Right behind the A.R. Mitchell.
Yeah, Dr. Lowe is going to court on Monday with municipal court because of the tickets he's gotten for that building. That was probably, we were planning on doing that one after the university houses, but now because building bricks are falling down, it's pushed a little bit. We might have to demo that building quicker. So that one will be eaten by the city. Will be paying for the demo of the asbestos. So we're looking at that one next. If it has to be, if depending on how the court goes on Monday, we'll see.
Well, I'm really encouraged by the direction we're going in. And Chair, is there a way for us to reach out to Downtown Colorado Inc. and kind of bring them up to speed of what we're trying to do, and see if there's a success model or some entity out there that works with this sort of thing? Because This
Yeah, that would be helpful.
this isn't unique to us.
Right.
Communities all over the state have these buildings. I mean, we have them in Huerfano County, you have them in Colfax County, you have them in Lamar, everywhere. So everybody has this problem, so maybe somebody's come up with a solution, or maybe there's some funds with that infrastructure bill that was out there to try and maybe do some of this stuff. Or maybe there's some EPA asbestos,
The
you know,
EPA,
gray, what do they call it?
either for the asbestos testing, they said that as long as if the issue comes down, we have to own the building in order to get grant funding for it, which is why we weren't gonna be able to use those kind of funds for the university properties until we own the properties.
Quick claim deed.
That's what
Thank
we're,
you, Chair.
that's what we're hoping for.
Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. Like, I did most of it with what we've been working on anyways.
But one last question. There was, when Jeff was looking at things and he was working with the county and the city, and then Keely Williams was doing some things when she was with the city, and then we seem to have gotten, there were 31. What's the difference between the 18 and the,
So,
31?
my original list came from the list that Keely gave me,
Okay,
because she was my boss, so she's the one that handed me that list. We went through, and John, our building inspector at the time, went and drove by all those houses.
Okay.
Some of them have been sold, and work had been done on them, and they're now no longer ADO.
okay. All right.
So if they came off the list, like if John drove by and there was nothing wrong with the buildings, we pulled them off. So the list that we have now are the ones that we got complaints from neighbors, or the cops have called us, or
Okay,
John
good.
drove by and saw them.
Good, good.
And now Jeremy is doing the same thing with our current building inspector.
What about some of the fire? John had told me about the fire.
That's 2/6.
Since we had a fire, he goes, "You're the only one to fix up your house. Everybody else is sitting there with these
We have one owner.
disasters."
Yeah, one owner is working on his house. He's now working with an engineer. He's gonna make his from a 2-story to a 1-story because the fire was upstairs, so now he's just gonna knock the top part of his house off.
Wow.
That is over on Godding. The 216 Goddard, that's the one we're having issues getting a hold of the new owner, which is a company out of Texas. Then the other one is, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's 633 Park Street. He has not done anything. He tried raising funds for that house. That's another one I thought TURA might be interested in. It's by the school, so it's a good house. He had no insurance. So it's just sitting vacant now. And he has not reached out to us. We haven't been able to get a hold of him. I don't know what's going on with that owner. So that's one of those houses that
The
we
second house from the corner.
And do you ever know
looked
whether
at
they
it.
had, do you ever know if they are unencumbered by anything else? So we know if the city puts a lien on it, we know if the county puts,
That one
back
has,
taxes.
that one's been paying his taxes.
But we don't know if they still have a mortgage or there's anything else on those properties.
No, not that one.
Fire insurance, they didn't have mortgage.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that
All
one
right,
was,
Well, they could, it's not paying that too.
It's not paying that.
Talk to insurance guy, yeah. Okay.
no, that one is owned by the owner. He owned that house.
Because again, that quick claim deed coming up with some kind of amount of money that you could,
Well, you would want a quick claim deed, because if there are encumbrances on it,
well, that's what I'm.
yeah, we want to be able to negotiate to get a warranty deed, a general warranty deed, because if there are encumbrances or any other
Totally
liens or
agree.
levies on it, then it would be, if we do a quick claim deed, you inherited.
Agree. Yeah. Okay.
No, that one's not on a mortgage. That one is owned by him.
Okay.
So he owns that house. He just doesn't have the money. He didn't have insurance. So, like I said, he tried to do some fundraising to get the money. They were able to get enough money to clean it, and that's about it.
Did that fire enter into the house, or was it just the front porch?
It was under the front porch, and let's see, there was, Keely went and did an assessment on it, a structural assessment. So I have the letter draft that she did, on the fact of what damage was done to it and how much work needs to be done.
Is that Sammy Terry's house or across the
Oh,
street?
No, his name is
By
Thomas
Sack Rise.
Romero.
Oh, going up that way, okay, I'm on the wrong.
He was a janitor for the school.
I know where you're.
He was a drywaller at one time too. He was a
Yes,
handsome
okay.
drywaller.
The son caused the fire.
Smoking.
Okay, I don't have any other questions. Thank you so much for getting all that for us.
Not a problem.
Moving on to item number 2, the Trinidad Opera House, the update. And this has been, I mean, everybody's familiar with it, so I'm not gonna go back and chronicle anything on it. But at your seating places, I did give you a copy of an email, and I got that today from Lisa Evans. And also, Paul Glenn called me early in the week to tell me that waiting on updated estimates from Park Valley Construction. One of the things that's going to happen over there is the plan is to try to stay within that $140,000 is going to, the request is from Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. What they're going to do is they walk back quite a few things. Their plan is to remove all the dangerous panels that are those stone panels and all the brick, fix it back up and make it all safe. The panels will not be put back in place until they do the restoration of the building. But they'll get it safe, so get it away from the state that it's in, allow repairs so that the walkway can be reopened again and get pedestrian traffic on it. They're also, you were just talking about problems with the roof, that they need to get some roof work done on it for a whole lot of things to happen. And then one of the other things that added difficulty and delay in this was the rotted out joist that is right there within that area of the corner where it was most recently a pawn shop. And so that's where it's at. So it's a matter of getting, and Paul Glenn also said that Ark Valley is trying to get masonry bids from an alternate masonry contractor because they're working, they want to keep that, what they get from us within that $140,000. But the putting back of those, and they want to take those panels off ASAP, those granite panels, not granite, they'd be sandstone, I think.
Yeah,
But he said they want those out because they take them out and store them to be used into the future with the full restoration of the building. He said they're not replaceable. If something happens to them, there is no replaceable for them. So they need to get them out and then store them safely, but then do things to the building just to keep it safe till the next phase with their restoration begins. Have you had any other conversations?
No, just trying to get the roof done. I've been working on that. That's supposed to start tomorrow, and there's some things that will be there. So that's at least a good thing. I'm open. I'm not encouraging this, but I'm open to if the deal we've put together is secured with residential property, good piece of property. The interest rate, it's a CD. We get an interest rate on that, and we get, and as we get back, we get an interest payment, we get some revenue that way. I'm open to increasing the 140. If it made sense, and again, I just wanted to say, I'm open to that if they come forward. What I hate to happen, because what I know here is every time 6 months or a year goes forward, whatever the number was at 6 months or a year ago,
Yeah, sorry.
it's higher, and it's not because you did anything differently, okay? So I want to be at least cognizant of the realities that all these folks are working within.
Well, the degradation of the building continues.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, so.
And so if we can come at this thing and say, okay, what is it going to take to get this done? We're secure, we have revenue coming in, we're in a secure position, we're not at risk with any of our funds, and we can turn that into a revolving funds to add to TIF, I would be open to somebody making a good argument.
I would just like to see it, get started,
Yeah.
like you're saying, just, and if we can help with that, I'm okay with that too, but I'm just.
It's a broken tooth.
Yeah, and even though we encountered a couple of delays with getting how we were gonna fund this thing, probably as time has marched on and all these other things were discovered, maybe it's best that all this has happened up to now, because if something would have begun and all of a sudden mid-project,
Yeah.
the scope is actually worse, where would this all be now? It would be, we'd be under no alternative but to find a way to get more money to that project.
Right.
At least this way, we've got, we've got some
A safety net right now.
I think that's a good insight. I think it has not worked poorly for us.
yeah. So I just don't want to,
Yeah.
we can't take any blame for it technically, because even though there were some difficulties in the beginning finding the methodology to be able to get that to happen, But had that happen, all of a sudden, there's been a multitude of things happening since then.
Right.
And so that, at that point, that would have been all, so it's a matter of getting there with a full basis of what's to be done and go from there. But,
Right.
Carl from Trinidad Construction called us last week. He saw moisture coming down to the bricks on the commercial side. He's offered a device that you can put in the cracks to see if the moisture's coming from the building or from the roof. We're worried because it's on the side that has lost bricks before. I guess that whole side of that building fell down at one point in time. So he's offering to put in the crack, you probably know it, it's like a crack monitor.
Well, yeah.
It's on the commercial side before you see the bank?
It's on the bank side.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, yeah.
He took some pictures and
It's,
I've
stuff.
heard of that.
it's just stuff that, to monitor the moisture. And see, I think that is an Adobe, it's got some Adobe.
Yeah,
It's Adobe on the,
Adobe on the inside, the facade is the brick.
there's a lot of structural stuff, my understanding is.
Right, so you got a couple different things going on, but it could be leaching water, there's no question about that. And then having it.
Well, who's he pitching that to? Is he pitching that to Lisa and the
He reached
owner?
out to Michael, our city manager, to send the pictures to him to let
Do we
him
need
know.
to connect him with Lisa? and
My building inspector reached out to Lisa.
Okay, good.
To let,
That's not
because he
us.
wanted permission before they put the monitors on there, because it's private property, so.
We're not involved in any of that.
Yeah, but I just wanted to let you know, because they wanted to let him know that it looks, the way it looks, it didn't look very good, the fact that where the water was coming from.
The picture gets bigger though.
Exactly.
And it's got a
It's-
crack
It's
running
bigger. There
from
could be
the
one
top
now
all the way
above-
down to the
above and
foundation.
beyond with that.
Really gets water in there and freezes.
Time has been good to us.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where it's all at, and whenever everything else comes together, we'll get it here. It's just a matter of, it's a limbo state right now. They don't have everything into place. I'm sure they've had delays. They did have to get a structural engineer to look at things. They had to get Art Valley to come and do their estimating more than once. So it's just one of those things. So, we, at our stage, there's really nothing else we can do but wait for them to be able to come. What are they gonna do? Anybody have any questions, anything else on that? Item number 3, we did receive a request for a letter of support from the Commonwealth companies. As you know, they're going to build, I forgot to run off the numbers, but they're gonna build housing units over on North Avenue, just past the intersection of, probably be somewhere north of North Avenue and San Pedro. Right in that particular, they're going to be, the project is known as the Marks, that's what it's going to be. And I think they've already filed all this stuff with you, so.
They did the major impact study already. One of the requests from that was that they needed to do a limited request or show a site plan, which is gonna be coming forward in January. They're coming in front of planning and zoning for it.
So, yeah, so it's still something there. So, last January, we were requested, a letter of support was requested, which we provided. Unfortunately, through the year of 2024, I guess the funds didn't happen, so they're asking again that we provide that letter of support. And so I provided you a copy with the January one, and I guess the, and a copy of a currently dated almost replica of that other letter. So, assuming that we're okay to send a letter of support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
The chamber would be interested in putting one together.
What is that, like 90?
Okay, I'll let him know.
No, it's
How many units?
43, something like that, isn't it?
how many units?
I think it's 40, but I'm not sure. So when they went back, the reason they were told they were denied was because they didn't like the number of single units. They wanted not as many family units, lower bedrooms. So I think they had to change the number, so I'm not 100% sure what the new number is, because they just reached out to let us know they were going in front of planning and zoning.
We sure can use that.
Yeah, that was.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, it's all set to go. I'll put a signature on it and send it to, Liz Peterson? I don't know, but anyway, if it's we're okay to go and do it all over again.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a very good project and,
I think so.
support. Item number 4, the Hughes Lumber property update. Commissioner Bailey.
Here we are again. I did talk to Carl, and he just said I think everything is in line, Tara, for the facade. I think all the paperwork and plans have not been approved, or,
I haven't received anything from them.
oh, okay.
The last building permit I got from them was for windows on Main Street.
Okay, but nothing for the Hughes? Okay, he said that paperwork was going, at least he was hoping that it would be maybe.
I'll reach out to his permit writer.
Okay, and we know that since Mr. Chipino died, that there's been, everything has slowed down, and that was his actual words, what Carl said. Yeah. He says it's kind of, he's busy with other things and doing stuff, but he says he's prepared to do the facade when they're ready, and he said, sounds like they were getting ready, but he said, they've been saying that for a long time now, so. But,
I've learned with Carl, when he says 2 weeks, he probably means 3 months.
yeah, it's true, but on the other side of that, I think a lot of times he's telling us what he's being told.
Yeah,
So in other words,
he's
you know,
got 2
they're
foremen.
saying, hey, you know, the old show, the money pit, you know.
There's a lot of moving parts with this stuff, you know?
And there's dependence on
Yep.
state, District Colorado funds.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things
And
involved.
so, and I think, you know, just everything slowed down, and he's not frustrated or anything like that. He just says it's just taking time to do it, and but it's going to get done, and they're going to start with the facade and everything like that. So, you know, how long ago was it that we went over there?
Oh, it was months.
It's
They
March,
purchased
April.
the building a year ago.
Yeah, it was still,
So,
before the summer, it was still snowing around there.
yeah, so, anyway, I know he wants to get started, I can tell you that, so.
Yeah, no, he sometimes, though, he thinks he sent the email, and then I let him know he did not send the email. So, I'll reach out and ask him if he meant that he sent the email, and it's just not
So,
working.
so that's our update right now, it's still kind of grinding out, is where I have to say, so.
I just sent an email to Tim Lamb today, General Counsel for Kip Hamden, and I didn't get a response back from him, so when that happens, I'll send out something else on, but yeah, that's
Okay.
my short conversation with Carl the other day on a separate, different matter. You know, that was brought up, I asked about it, he said, yeah, it's just, you know, I think the facade, the restoration of the facade is probably the first thing they want to get at.
So, that's the report, so, that's the update.
Item number 5, board vacancies. This has been a daunting problem. Going right along, and it's for us and it's for the all the boards and commissions of the city of Trinidad. And at this point, I need to tell you all, and I don't want to exacerbate the problem, but my term comes to an end on February the 3rd of 2025. And at this point, after consideration, it's highly unlikely that I will be seeking reappointment.
A huge loss, but understandable.
Yeah. And you know, the short and diluted explanation on it is I'm 73 years old. The commitment to another appointment is 5 years. That puts me at 78. And so there, you know, this has been, just here recently, really, because I've made some decisions, even business-wise. I'm cutting back some lines of business that I would have normally done. I just need to be able to free up time. I'm not planning on quitting, but I need to maximize what I can with the time I got. So that's one of the considerations that is leading to anything. So like I say, it's a high probability that I will be seeking reappointment. Thought I'd give it to you all now, to have, because I don't want to just, not be back here in February and just say, hey, I didn't go for appointment,
The only thing I would add, because you're a stud on this board, you've been here since the beginning, and just the tribal knowledge you have. Just consider that if you extend it, you don't have to do the whole 5. Okay? Just consider if you extend it and we got some things done, maybe it's a year added.
So yes, I'm working yet.
Would you be open?
I'm work, so,
Well, yeah, I'm still giving it that consideration.
so I would just say, based on what you've done for this board and what you've done in this area, if there was something we got close to getting some of this stuff done, if there was something where you said, I'll extend, but you know what, as soon as, whatever, it could be 6 months from now, it could be a year from now. I think we're just so close to getting a couple of things done. Your leadership has been key.
Well, as long as you're here, that's one of the keys.
Well, again, but if you say, no, you know what, I've done my time, there's nobody that can actually say, argue against that you've done amazing
So,
work.
like I say, it is somewhat 11th hour, but I didn't want to take it to the point where I just tell you at the end of next meeting that that's where it's at. I'm giving it, and I'll do all those things that have to be done. You know, there's still budget findings with DOLA that have to be completed once it all happens. So those are all things that, you know, coincidentally will happen.
Right after.
It has to happen right after and prior to the end of my term. But like I say, it's, you know, it's something that's been thought out. It wasn't sometimes, you know.
Well, is this something that we should really start planning now for whoever kind of our / executive director shared position person should be more knowledgeable about the inner workings of what you've been doing all this time?
Yeah.
Kind of been behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I'll be somewhat facetious, but to create the ed manual, you know what I mean? Well, what are some of the things to document some of this stuff so that there is kind of those things that you knew were always needed to be. This is when the budget needs to be done. This is when these things need to be done. This is how we do this stuff.
I
Something
would create an itinerary. You know,
kind of a template of what, you know, a manual.
Yeah, those are, you know, that would be something that would, you know, make sure that we were always going forward, that there would be no failure in the system, and those budget requirements, you know, and those are all set forth by state law anyway. I mean, Department of Local Affairs requires that, you know, it's all set, so the stages are, you know, by September you begin those things, and you have to adopt by December 31st.
Exactly. So when Jeff seats and I just wanted to do this easy as possible.
I'm
I wanted to be as easy as possible. Jeff, I'm thinking of you, okay?
Hey.
And there are things like the annual meeting that does happen in February, which is where the election of chair and vice chair happens. So there, and again, you know, I wouldn't just say, hey, goodbye. I mean, there would be.
We need to step up our game to fill the other seats.
Yeah.
We've kind of been lax. I know I try and find somebody once a month. That's about all I try and do when I run into somebody and say, hey, listen, would you think about it? But we probably need to up our recruiting game. Here.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think you know, most of the other boards have.
We're missing commissioners on almost every one of our boards.
And again, it's not my intent to exacerbate, but you know, thinking about the board, I can't think about me.
Well, I was just going to say,
and appreciate it.
and we just want to say, I'm speaking for all of us here, and I don't think anybody would disagree. We appreciate all the hours that you put in, hours and days.
It's been key and core.
And, you know, we come here with an outline, but somebody put that together, and we know it was, you know, you and Tara and different ones.
Yeah, and it's well, actually, it was all done. We just came in after all the heavy lifting had been done. I mean, so it was there, and actually, urban renewal has existed in Trinidad since 1964. Mm-hmm. So when it was brought back to life after the conditions survey and all that was done in 2015, it was just bringing everything forward. So, you know, urban renewal has been around, it just went inactive for a long period of time.
Right.
And so, yeah, they did all the heavy lifting, and that's how that came about. And, you know, I came on and fortunate to be here. I gotta say, it is an education. Yeah. It is a very valuable tool for the city of Trinidad, and you know, it needs to continue.
Sure.
As time goes on, there will be, you know, required changes because our tip clock is 10 years used up already.
Yeah.
It's a 25-year clock, and so, you know, it's a 15-year clock. So you know, other considerations have to be made. Is that there has to be a change to the plan to start to allow for spot project areas rather than that to get 25 years, that creates another situation where you will then be required to have, TURA would be required to have, is it 11 or 13 board
Yeah.
persons on the board?
Wow.
If you see what we've got now,
How would we?
what's that possibility
Well,
in the future?
I think that the only thing I've always thought about that is when you can actually bring in, let's say, the Honey Fire District and the school district, because, now you look at Cougar Canyon. When you can bring in somebody from the Trinidad School District and say, okay, how does things work here? When you can bring somebody in maybe from the college. I think right now we just have a pool of concerned citizens that we all have to do. I think at that point when you did that, there'll be some interests that people will
Well,
have.
it's mandated.
But there'll be, yeah.
It's mandated, so you,
Yeah.
those special taxing districts that are affected by the TIF, okay, it's mandated that when you expand that board by the 2016
Right.
regulation, you would have to have a representative of each one of the special taxing districts.
And I think those folks would probably like to have somebody sit on this board versus what we've been so far, just concerned citizens just in our local area. But so there may be a benefit to that in widening the pool. It may be. is what I'm saying.
It's hard to say, but yeah. Well, like I say, I didn't, it's difficult to even mention what I've mentioned, but, I'm sitting just basically 2 months out from when that would happen, so, it would be unfair of me not to say it at this particular time.
His letter of resignation will be lost.
February's not gonna come. We're just gonna skip them.
Yeah.
March.
All right.
All right, item number 6, items for future discussion. Anybody have anything that this would be helpful to know what you might want to have?
I want to keep that ADO going. I want to just keep that going. And what's the next thing that we can do? And I think they start getting, those meetings are going to start getting shorter as you train us up on things.
Yeah, not a problem.
And as the city attorney gets some of these processes
That's
in
why,
place.
that's what our biggest thing is, working on our process to try to figure out what our next step is, because like I said, we keep hitting a wall, and that's where we have an issue is.
I mean, I think on our side, I've said, is an outreach to downtown Colorado, Inc. Okay, what can we be doing to fund this stuff? What kind of warranty deed, or can we fund this stuff? Who's putting land banks together? How have other entities out there, communities out there, dealt with this situation that we have?
No, and I think granting for, like, DOLA there's money out there through DOLA. It can all be, and again, there's still this, the door's not closed, we just never have been able to do it, but the Neighbor Works in Pueblo, okay, Neighbor Works in Pueblo has, would be something to be able to get them down here and explain who they are, what they can do. So, there are things out there, but it's just one of those things where available time for the person that's doing it.
Well, exactly. Do you work with any of those folks? Do you work with
We-
DOLA or?
No, DOLA, well, I've been working with Carrie Gableson, which is our grant writer right now. And I'm working with History Colorado for a couple grants for HPC, but I haven't worked with anything for ADO or, like I said, we're tied because you have to own properties in order to get any assistance.
Right.
And we just don't own them outright.
But it'd be nice to at least know okay, now we know we need to own them. Okay, we're working on that. Now, once we own them, what are the opportunities for us with DOLA funds or neighborhood funds or infrastructure funds or any of those grant opportunities out there?
Okay, I can look up and see if we can find some, see what's available.
Excellent. Yes, I'd like that to continue. if we can.
Thank you. Backing up, going back to the Opera House, I just want to know, I did get an email the other day from Paul Benedetti. He was just letting me know that he's got a new location. He's moved from Boulder to Superior. And just want to know, he says, whatever transpired with that. So I just told him, it's still not a done deal, but it's still on the fire. So, it's a back burner, but it will happen. So I just thought I'd just mention that Paul, the attorney we use, is interested in it. Okay, anything else? If there is anything else that you'd like to see on the January agenda, please let me know. It will come on and I'll research whenever I can, or if you can, research it and give it to me with what you got. If nothing else, then we will go to our regular meeting. This is the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. This is Today is December the 14th, 2024. It is 6:14 p.m. Chair, could you?
Roll call.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Bigley?
Here?
Okay, Mr. Hecht?
Hecht.
Hecht, sorry. Howlett?
Here?
And Mr. Lopez is not. And Mr. Grego?
Here. Item number 2, approval of the minutes from the November 2024 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
There is a motion from Commissioner Heck to approve, the second by Commissioner Bagley. Are there any questions or comments? Roll call.
All right. Mr. Grego?
Yes.
Mr. Bigley?
Yes.
Mr. Hecht?
Yes.
Mr. Howlett?
Yes.
It's accepted. Item number 3, acceptance of the financial report. Copy was provided to everybody with the agenda in advance. Hope you had an opportunity to review. Is there a motion to accept?
Good. I'll make a motion to accept it.
Commissioner Heck with a
Second
motion.
that.
Commissioner Howlett with a second. Questions or comments?
Any comment from the chair on this?
Just to let you know that, I think that's some figures. We made a slight improvement on our income for the, from through the month of October to November. It was unofficial here. I just did, Tara just gave me the check that was got into the, it came in the mail from the county treasurer's office today. So you'll be seeing on the next month's report, an entry for $847.13. So we're nearing the $60,000 level for the year at the from our TIF. Yeah, it's probably 4 times what we thought it might be last year, based upon the bleak picture that had been. And so I don't know where it's going to go this year, and we'll talk about it as I get down the line, because I put some stuff in everybody's seating places. So other than that, and you'll also note that year to date, we have gleaned $303,513 in interest on our operating account. So we've got total actual income this year of $62,586.
I don't have the figures right in front of me, but what did we project? We didn't project that much, did we, for this year?
No.
A year ago?
No, we
were like $14,000 or $18,000.
$18,000 projected for this year, because that was, we were the assumption by the information we were provided,
Right.
is that it was going to be less than the previous year, which was in the $24,000
That's
range.
right.
So it's, I mean, that, they're looking at, 3 times what we thought we would get. So I mean, it's great. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but I mean, that's where it's at this particular point. So, we're sitting in the general fund account of $583,253 at this particular point.
Let's invest it well, get it to work for us.
Okay, we have a motion to accept by Commissioner Heck, with a second by Howlett. Any other questions or comments? Roll call.
Okay, Mr. Bigley?
Yes.
Mr. Hecht?
Yes.
Mr. Howlett?
Yes.
And Mr. Grego?
Yes. Item number 4, consideration of bills, and there are none. Item number 5, petitions or communications, oral or written. Is there anybody in the sitting audience that would like to come forward and address the Trinidad Urban Renewal? Let the record reflect that no one has come forward to address Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. Item number 6 is old business, and there is none. And item number 7, new business, the adoption of the resolution number 2024-01, adoption of the 2025 budget. I will read the resolution, and then I will call for motions for approval. Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority Resolution to Adopt Budget, Resolution 2024-01. A resolution summarizing expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopting a budget for the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority, TURA, for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2025 and ending on the last day of December 2025. Whereas the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority has prepared and submitted a proposed budget for consideration. Whereas upon due and proper notice, published or posted in accordance with the law, said proposed budget was open for inspection by the public at a designated place. A public hearing was held on November 14, 2024, and interested taxpayers or parties were given the opportunity to file or register any objections to said budget. Whereas, whatever increases may have been made in the expenditures, like increases were added to the revenues or planned to be expended from reserves, fund balances, so that the budget remains in balance as required by law. Now therefore be it resolved by the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority of Trinidad, Colorado, Section 1, that the budget submitted, amended and summarized by fund, hereby is approved and adopted as a budget of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority for the year stated above. Section 2, that the budget hereby approved and adopted shall be signed by the chairman and made a part of the public records of TURA, the City of Trinidad. Adopted this 12th day of December, AD 2024, attested by Edward L. Griego, Chairman. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve and adopt the 2025 budget, Resolution 2024-01.
I'll second that.
A motion to approve by Commissioner Howlett with a second by Commissioner Bagley. Are there any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bigley?
Yes.
Mr. Heck?
Yes.
Mr. Howlett?
Yes.
Mr. Griego?
Yes. Item number 8, report by Executive Director. And I'm not the Executive Director, but as a chairman, I transact and administer the business of the Trinidad Urban Renewal Authority. I think I have to report, is at your seating places this evening, I put a copy of the notification I received earlier this week from the Los Animas, Jody Amato, Los Animas County Assessor, in there where the certification of the property taxation for Los Animas County for the coming year. The tax increment on which we receive our funds, the amount certified will be on an amount of $801,948. Based upon that and whatever those percentages and the formula is, we will be getting our $60,000 or whatever it is based upon whatever that formula is. And I'm using that $60,000 loosely because I don't know what it's going to be, but it's just a matter of, that is the actuarial part of that is done by a company, I forget their name, but that's who does all that information, that compiles all this information for the Los Animas County as far as the mill levy and the overall amount for certification. And so that's where that is. So I got that, it actually came to City Hall and it was given to my wife, she did deliver it to me, so that's where it's at. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report. Item number 9, reports by commissioners. Commissioner Howard.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Heck.
Pretty good. I have nothing.
Right then. If there's no other business to come before this body, we'll motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Howard with the motion to adjourn, with Commissioner Hecht.
All for a second.
If there are no dissenting votes, we are adjourned at 6:20.